So I'd like to ask some questions about you or Malta and English.
Fire away. So, ask me some questions.
Okay,
and I
so
will-
first question is, could you introduce yourself?
I could, yeah. My name is Paul Atkins. I am an English teacher. I've been a teacher for 31 years, and I come from Brighton in the south of England. That's me.
How long have you been staying in Malta?
I've been here for 2 years now. I came at the end of the summer of 2019, and I've been here, and with COVID I haven't travelled anywhere else.
Do you like Malta so far?
I do, yeah. Malta's a good place, yeah.
Where is your favorite place in Malta?
I would say that I like Valletta very much. I like all of Malta. I like Gozo, I like the towns, the cities, but Valletta is like nothing else anywhere.
Valletta is one of the hardest city name I pronounce.
Valletta, it's not easy, yeah. The V
Valletta.
and L, yeah, really difficult, isn't it? Valletta, yeah.
What has surprised you about living in Malta?
I think the weather surprised me. I'm British and I like sun and things, and the weather's fantastic in Malta. So I was very surprised that it was so sunny in the winter and in the summer. That was mostly it.
What is the advantage of studying English in Malta?
Okay, there are advantages and disadvantages, of course, but the advantages, obviously, the greatest teachers are in Malta. But apart from that, I would say it's an English-speaking environment. So Maltese people typically speak Maltese and English in everyday life. And there are many, many foreigners here. It's something like, I don't know, maybe one foreigner for every 3 Maltese people. And English is used by foreigners. So when you're studying in school, you use English. When you're out of school, you use English. So I think that's probably the biggest advantage. In your daily life, and it's kind of important, isn't it, that learning a language needs to be not just a school thing, an academic thing. It needs to be a real life thing, and then you have a reason to use the language. You have to get better. You know, you must have found this yourself, meeting guys at the gym.
Yeah, every day.
You have to kind of speak, and Malta is a good place for that.
So on the other hand, are there any disadvantages of studying English in Malta?
Well, not massively. No, I wouldn't think so. If you think that if you study English in any other country, you have the same experience of using the language in school and outside of school. Malta is, in that respect, just the same as Britain or the United States or Australia or Ireland, in that you use English in school and out of it. I would say that the disadvantages of learning English in a multinational school is that you tend to use English with other students and maybe make it simple. So it's for an individual student, I think you have to remember, use your best language. If someone doesn't understand, then you can make it simple. But no, I don't think there are big disadvantages.
To sum up, could you give a message to people who are studying English or want to study abroad?
Yes, I could. First of all, do it. That's the very first thing. English is an international language and is, of course, useful in your life. But studying any language is a creative learning process that will expand your character, change your life, make you think differently. Traveling abroad makes you think differently. You must have found this yourself. And so I would say do it. If you have the opportunity to learn a language in another country, do it. If you have the chance to learn English in Malta, absolutely do it. Why would you not? Malta has this advantage of being in the middle of Europe, so in non-COVID times, you can come to Malta, but you can spend the weekend in Berlin, or you can spend the weekend in London or in Madrid. So just do it. hell, just do it, yes. That would be my advice.
Okay, thank you for.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
We have to cut.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. First question is, could you introduce yourself?
Okay, so I am Kirsty. I am the academic assistant manager at Multinational, and I am Maltese, and I have lived in both Malta and in English.
How long have you been staying in Malta?
So, in total, I've been living in Malta for maybe 10 years. I lived in the UK for the rest of the time.
Where is your favorite place in Malta?
Oh, that's so difficult, but I would have to say that my favorite place is probably Riviera Beach. In Maltese, it's called Untitled because of the sunset. It's beautiful.
I like Riviera Beach too.
Right.
What has surprised you about living Malta?
Oh, I think what has surprised me about living here is that you meet people with connections to people who you know. So it's a very small place. Everybody knows everyone. And I don't think I realized that that was the case when I moved back here. So it's been interesting to figure that out. It's been cool. I think it was just that I didn't realize how much of it was. And then I came back, I'm like, oh, you know that person. And then you know that person who knows that person. Everyone knows everyone.
Everyone knows, yeah.
So that's
Okay.
what surprised me, but it was nice.
So, next question is about English.
Right.
And you are Maltese?
I
Yeah. What is the advantage of studying English in Malta?
I think apart from the weather, we have much nicer weather here than we have in the UK. But I think that being in a place where it is people's first language, but also people have experience of it not being their first language, actually makes people feel more connected to the people here. Like you go into a shop and you kind of say, oh, this person's Maltese, but they can speak English just as well as me. So you feel that kind of motivation to learn English in the same way as the local people here. And there are some very good schools as well.
On the other hand, are there any disadvantage of studying English in Malta?
I think that, that's a very difficult question. I think that sometimes maybe because you're not exposed to as many people with English accents, maybe some people might see that as a disadvantage. But on the other hand, you could say that there are so many different accents in English that you're never going to find a place where there's only one accent that you can stay in. So I guess it could be seen as a disadvantage, but I don't think it is.
Last question.
Okay.
Could you give a message to people who are studying English or want to study abroad?
So for people who want to study English, I would say that you've got to be motivated and you cannot be afraid to make mistakes. English is not an easy language, but if you learn and if you expose yourself to the language through films, through TV series, through even just listening to a podcast, then you will absorb so much. And when you try and speak it, keep on going. It doesn't matter if you make any mistakes, because those will come and be rectified with time.
How should we keep motivation about studying English?
Oh, how do you keep motivated? I guess you've got to always think positively. So for every mistake that you make, you might think, oh no, I did that wrong. But I also did something else right. So if you look at the positive, instead of looking at the negative, that is going to keep you motivated. Keep on reading, keep on watching new things, because that way you will learn new vocabulary, and then you'll improve slowly.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I've never been filmed before, so.
Cut. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Anything for you, Hikaru.
Okay, ready?
Sure.
The first question is, could you introduce yourself?
Oh, cool. So my name's Kat. I come from the southwest of England.
How long have you been working as a teacher?
For 3 years in total. So 1 year in Malta and 2 years teaching children in Indonesia.
Why did you decide to become a teacher?
So I had been traveling for a few years and I had some interesting conversations with different fellow travelers, and I thought it would be an interesting way to see the world and maybe a rewarding job. And yeah, I found I really enjoyed it.
Do you like your job?
Yeah, I love it. It's great. I find it really rewarding. I love having conversations with different people from different parts of the world, hearing different perspectives. I feel like I learn so much by teaching. So, yeah.
What do you think is the difference between students who improve their English quickly and those who improve it slowly?
It's a difficult question, yeah. I think possibly it comes down to the attitude. So a student who is very open and they're happy to discuss different topics, not just topics that they think are relevant to them and interest them. I think part of it is being able to engage in topics that are outside of your usual interest. So it's having that open-mindedness and that attitude. Not being shy to make mistakes. It doesn't matter as far as we're concerned. If you make mistakes, we are just really happy to hear people speaking. And in making mistakes, it shows that you are taking risks. So there's definitely that. And students who speak to each other in English outside of school. It's obvious to teachers, the students who stay together in monolingual groups and the ones who will socialize with students of different nationalities. So yeah, I'd say positive attitude, being very open-minded, not being afraid to make mistakes, and to use your English outside of school as much as possible.
Have you ever been to Japan?
I have, yeah.
Oh, really? Could you tell me about the story?
Oh, okay. So I went in December to January 2019 to 2020. So this was just as the pandemic was kicking off. Maybe not the best time to visit. I spent 5 days in Tokyo and 5 days in the Kyoto area.
Where's your favorite place in Japan?
Probably, I think it's called Kuruma in Kyoto. I did a short hike between two temples in the forest and the mountains, and it was absolutely beautiful. I loved it. So in future, I would like to do more stuff in the countryside. I think perhaps I spent a little bit too much time in the city. Yeah.
What is your impression of Japanese students?
They are lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah, Japanese students are a real pleasure to teach. There's a lot of respect for teachers. They seem willing to engage in different topics as well. Like I was saying earlier, some students, maybe they think, oh, I'm not interested in politics, I don't want to talk about politics. But I think they come in with a very sort of studious attitude that they will try to use each topic or each grammar point to their advantage. So I feel like, yeah, they have a great attitude to their studies.
And finally, could you give a message to people who are studying English or want to study abroad?
Do it!
Just do it!
No, I think it's a fantastic opportunity. Not only do you get the chance to do immersive learning, which is the style that we teach in Multilingua and most modern language schools will teach, but to explore a new country, to make new friends, and it's all the experiences outside of your lessons as well, where you will practice your English as well. So I think it's a fantastic opportunity. Go for it if you can.
Do it, go for it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Hi Dudley!
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm feeling fresh.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
The first question is, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Dudley. I'm a teacher at Multilingual School. I've been here for about 22 months. I'm from the UK, from the south, and yeah, I like Malta. Nice place.
How long have you been working as a teacher?
Oh, as a teacher in total, about 10 years. My first teaching position was in Oxford in the UK, and from there I moved to Jakarta, and I taught for about 2 years in Jakarta, and then I taught in Barcelona for a year, and then I spent a lot of years back in Indonesia again, but this time in a place called Surabaya in Eastern Java.
Where is your favorite country?
Ooh, my favorite country in the world? Oh, that is a tough question. I really like Sumatra. Sumatra is in my imagination, Sumatra is what I thought Indonesia would look like. very rural, very natural, full of volcanoes and yeah, like an alien world.
Why did you decide to become a teacher?
Well, I decided to become a teacher because I've always been very inquisitive. I've always wanted to know more about a lot of different things. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to teach, but I knew I wanted to try and share some of the things that I'd learned. So I went travelling. I was working in a bookshop for a couple of years. I saved a lot of money, and I went travelling for about 5 months in Southeast Asia, Malaysia and Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. And then I wanted to revisit these countries, but I wanted to give something back. I felt like as a tourist that I was just taking. So I wanted to try and return something. And I figured if I did teaching, I would be able to see these countries again, but also give something to the people who had shown me such a great adventure in the past.
What do you think is the difference between students who improve their English quickly and those who improve it slowly?
I think, firstly, I'll answer this in two different ways. I think students who have their own motivation to learn often learn much faster. If there is no internal motivation from the individual to learn, it's very difficult to be interested in what you're learning. And if you're not interested and you're not happy doing something, it's very difficult to learn about it. So if your motivation to learn comes from outside of yourself, from somewhere else, then it's not your own personal motivation. And I do sometimes, from time to time, see people who are learning English at the school, and you can see they don't have this internal motivation. They've been sent to learn English because of their work or something like that. And then when that happens, I feel a responsibility to try and inspire them a little bit to take a personal interest in English and see that it's not an academic subject, but something to add to your own life to make it better.
Have you ever been to Japan?
No, but I would absolutely love to. I would love to. Yeah, I'm really interested in Japanese history, and I'd like to visit some of the places where really the culture of Japan shines. It's on my list of countries. I actually, about 4 years ago, I accepted a teaching role in Japan. So I went through the lengthy process of applying for a teaching role and getting it, but I changed my mind at the last moment. There was something else going on in my life which meant it wasn't the right time to go and do that. Yeah, but fingers crossed for the future. I'm certainly 100% going to visit Japan. Whether I'll work there, I'm not sure, but I'm definitely open to the idea, for sure.
What is your impression of Japanese students?
I think Japanese students, I have never met a Japanese student that I didn't like. They tend to be, yeah, absolutely. And I've met a lot of Japanese students. My impression is they are hard-working people. They are very honest and open, and very respectful. And I think when you have a classroom with respect, then everyone can work better together. So yeah, I've got nothing but a high opinion for the Japanese people that I teach.
Thank you.
Including, or maybe excluding.
Excluding, yeah. And finally, could you give a message to people who are studying English or want to study abroad?
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe I'll give a practical message and then a personal one. If you want to learn more English and your ambition is to do something abroad with the English language, then I suggest that you immerse yourself in the language. And that means to try and read in English as often as you can, watch TV shows, perhaps in your own language but with English subtitles, or to just, if you're feeling brave enough, watch it in English but with your own native language subtitles. Like, that's a great way to do it. Immersion is really important, and you don't want to be translating, you want to be thinking in English, and this is the best way to make that happen. So that's my practical advice for someone who's learning English or wants to learn English. But I think from a personal perspective, I feel like you would be doing yourself a huge favour if you really put the effort into learning English. It will open so many doors in your life and make your adventure full of so many more possibilities. So yeah, I've got a lot of respect for people that put the effort in and achieve things in their lives. I get a lot of satisfaction from helping people do that as well.
It's a great message. It's great. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah.